3, 2, 1. Okay, so it's not Wednesday, it's not Tuesday, it's Thursday, and we're coming to you live from Daytona Beach, Florida. Willies Choppertime. We're at the show, man. This is the show of all shows. I'm here with Ken.
Hi.
And we're ready for another episode of Shop Talk. This is our first live remote, and you can see like the screen's going crazy. I don't even know what it's nuts, man. But we're at Choppertime, you know, like
I can't believe you put this together.
Right.
You threw this together.
And,
sorry,
dude. If you could see where we're sitting right now, it's insane. It's absolutely nuts. There's people everywhere. This has got to be a record at Willies. I can't even believe that they let us come and do this. On top of Ken and I that you guys are used to listening to every week, we have one of our frequent listeners who calls in and sends messages. Mark V is in the house, international photographer, takes a good picture too.
They were going to say international man of mystery.
Exactly.
Every now and again he takes a good picture. Mark, let me hear your microphone.
Hey.
Good.
All right, Daytona.
So you guys are going to get a little bit of background music. Little background noise today. That's just the way it is. We've got a lot of people here, and it's actually pretty quiet in here comparatively speaking to what's going on outside. And I wish we could turn that camera around so people could see what's going on out there.
It is out of control out there.
I would say honestly we're approaching a record for Choppertime. Like the last time we checked, we were at 150 bikes in the show, and like there are people for 8 blocks in every direction right now. It's insane.
And how do you know that, Chris?
Because I went 8 blocks in every direction trying to park my entirely too large Sprinter van, which is a huge pain in the ass in this town.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
But, man, Bike Week so far, I got to tell you, like, Mark was in way early, so you can tell us what the crowd was like and what they were doing at the beginning, at the first weekend.
Yeah, well, you know, I was lucky enough to go on that little pub crawl on Main Street with Carrie Hart and George from Chaos Cycles and Evan from Speakeasy, and oddly enough, for the first Sunday night, Main Street was surprisingly packed.
Yeah, Main Street,
yeah, which is a place that will filter out as the week is early. But it was wall to wall people, and people were just having a good time, no drama. It was nice to see. And we were out pretty late, so.
Now let's talk about part of the limiting factor for people's activities is seriously, like at night here, it's still getting down into the 40s.
Oh yeah, it was ice cold.
Yeah,
ice cold.
Last night I think at the Iron Horse, which the Iron Horse is always packed, elbow to elbow, or elbow to asshole, however you want to say it. But last night it was actually
language.
Confederate Railroad was playing for like 50 people because it was so cold. Really? Everybody was like, "Fuck it, we're going home."
Yeah. It was. I actually rode down from St. Augustine this morning, and there was frost on my seat. Not like dew, but like scrape it off my seat.
And you know what Ken's actually telling you by saying this? We're a bunch of old bastards now. Because and here I am. I threw my back out 2 days ago. I've been to the chiropractor twice already. And I'm remembering times when we would come into town and we would drink for 11 days straight, fist fight in the middle of the street and sleep on a rock, and head north feeling better than ever.
Exactly. And you can't remember somebody would light their balls on fire.
Those days are over, baby. They're over. So, even though we're here live and we're going to be talking about Willies and everything that's going on, we're a couple hours away from the awards here. There's still a lot of news going on in motorcycling. Ken actually has a little report for Arai helmets. You did something cool when you first rolled into town that Arai has some new products.
Yeah, we went. I went yesterday. They invited us over to the Speedway. They did a launch of the Defiant X and the Classic V, which are 2 new models that they are launching specifically for the cruiser V-twin market. So cafe racers as well, but they're really focusing on V-twin, kind of Harley. They've got some colorways that match some of the Harley colorways. And the big thing that they talked about was safety, and they made some great points. They showed a lot of their kind of impact studies. Their helmets are not the least expensive by any means. They might be the most expensive, but they're family owned. They've been family owned forever. And here we go. We're gonna get Roadside in the background.
Right.
We're gonna get to hear all the awards and everything. But anyways, it was a really great launch. But after that, after they kind of told us about the helmets, they gave us helmets, and then we went out to the short track. We got to ride. They had Johnny Lewis there, and we got 5 laps each, and then we came in.
Wow!
And I did that 5 times. So
really,
yeah, I was not.
You were the first guy on the track too.
Yeah, I mean, I was just, and part of it was like I didn't want to sit there and watch people go around in circles. So I'm getting it. I'm like, nobody's on that TTR 125. I'll take it. So I did that. Really fun. They gave us some good pointers watching people go around, and then I took an Alta out, which everybody knows, I think, was just bought by Harley Davidson.
But talk about that for a minute, because I'm not sure we brought it up on the show yet.
Yeah, so it was a electric motorcycle company in the San Francisco area, and for whatever reason, they must have had the kind of secret sauce, because there are a ton of electric motorcycle companies out there. And they got, my understanding is at least a huge, partner, or maybe they bought them outright. I can't remember what the exact term was, but Harley Davidson has a commanding stake in them now, and they had some of their bikes out there yesterday, set up for flat track, and it was bizarre at first. It was no clutch, just direct throttle, and I gave it a couple blips coming out of corners, and it was
off the hook,
scary. Super. I mean, it was just immediately sideways, just no grip, let loose. Pretty heavy, but I mean, also I had just been on that TTR 125, so it's probably comparable to like that. They had some Huskies out there.
Oh, dude, I love the new Husky.
Yeah,
so I absolutely love that bike. I would have one of those in a minute. The Husky 4-strokes are sick motorcycles. I'm so glad to see that brand back and have strength in the market again. It's killer.
Yeah, it was definitely a day to remember. And then we went. I actually ended up leading the ride for whatever reason, and led the ride up to St. Augustine. They had some, I don't know, not great route picked out, so I made it better. We went through Tomoka, did the loop out to A1A. It was a good time for sure.
So Mark, what do you see? What do you see at the beginning of the week here? You seeing that like we were sort of slow overall bike week in the beginning of the week? Now it's starting to pick up, because today it's crazy. It's busy everywhere.
Absolutely. So what I've noticed, and it happens yearly now, is that you get your hardcore, people that want to get in here and get some riding in before things pick up, and really when it becomes like a snowball effect, because it starts out with your show at the Broken Spoke, and from there it just it gets you'll be there, and then Jay will be like, oh, the next big thing, and then it's like the next big thing after that. So it every show, when you're at it that day, is like the greatest experience that you're at Daytona. I mean, Willie's is, I gotta admit, it's hard to top, but
and I'll tell you what, like there's always a lot of like haters out there that are like, oh, Daytona, it's bullshit, blah blah blah. This is the kickoff for so many of us that have been doing this, that are tenured into the industry and the culture, and like I just feel like it's always going to have that kind of place for so many of us.
Close that door.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a lot of this is just rite of passage. But the one thing I will say...
No. I want somebody to close the door.
Close the door.
Please.
What I will say, which is very enlightening, being an older guy, is that I see a lot of youth, and me and Chris have these late night conversations about passing the torch, and there are a lot of, I can curse on this show, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of fucking kick-ass young builders out there, and I'm all about the underdog, and when you get into that discussion about industry,
Yeah.
I mean, the garage builder is going to make a major resurgence in the next
Absolutely.
years to come. And if you are outside and looking at these bikes right now, it's already. I mean, I saw it last year. You see it 5 years ago, but it's really becoming a big deal now. Where that is, the underdog is like where it is to be cool right now.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree.
Yeah, and I mean, you saw that at your show yesterday, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how many bikes do you have at your show yesterday?
We had 80, man, but I got to tell you, like, 80 might not sound like a big show. That's big to pull off in Florida. And when I tell you, man, we didn't have a bum in the crowd. There was no, like, the guy that shows up with 50 fucking things glued to his motorcycle and shit like that, and he's like, okay, you're here for the show.
Doodad, yeah.
Exactly.
But seriously, that guy wasn't even there. It was every bike. I think we had like 6 knuckleheads.
Yes.
Holy
You know,
moly.
and I mean far out.
I've never seen sick knuckleheads at a
Dude,
show like that. Yeah,
incredible.
it's
It
great.
was such a good day and such an honor. Like, I said this yesterday on stage, but I'm just so humble about that people actually show up for shit that we're doing. I never get used to that. You know, it's so cool.
It's a good experience. I mean, even, we all know Jay for years, and, he does his speech and he ad hocs it, and he just kind of gets in your heart. It sounds corny. I mean, even the way he, brought Gloria up to give her a little speech. And
so good.
It was
and
a
she
good
was
day.
she was a real pisser, dude.
Oh yeah.
She was.
You know what? If he didn't cut her
fire.
off like the Oscars, she'd be still talking.
Yep, absolutely. So, Mark, listen, man, I know you got a ton of bikes to shoot down
I'm
here.
outta here,
I
man.
appreciate you sitting in with us.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for coming by.
And we
Absolutely.
finally put a voice. Like, you guys see Mark's name up every week when we're doing the show. He's always contributing from behind the scenes, and now you finally got his voice a little bit here.
Exactly. I'm honored just to be here and work with you guys, and just have some fun. And I actually rode here for a change.
Well, we're happy to have you on the show. Now, get the hell out of the seat.
I'm outta here, man.
We got to bring somebody else
I
up.
think I owe Pat Jansen money because he's just sitting there waiting for me to leave.
Right?
Have a good one.
Coming up on the microphone, on the guest microphone next, you guys know him from the Progressive Stage from Grease and Gears
here we
Garage.
go.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Pat Jansen. Maybe.
It's kind of quiet. Wait a minute. Where's the applause?
Hey,
Hold on.
Is that a smattering of applause? Come on, everybody clap. Everybody clap. Oh, I gotta
You can take those. What's that?
We want another picture.
What?
Do we want another
Oh,
picture?
yeah.
Hell
God.
yeah. We love
More
pictures.
than anything.
Why is the camera only on Ken right now? I can't see myself. I want to see me. What's that about? I mean, I know he's better looking, but
So here's the thing: we're working things out here as we go. So I think I explained that in the beginning of the show that it was not going to be as polished as it normally is.
What the fuck is
What?
going on here?
I'm moving.
Yeah, I'm like watching this.
Right.
There's Pat's hand. All right.
That's what we're gonna get in 10 shot. We're gonna get Pat's hand in. So here you go. That's Pat on the other side of Ken.
Yeah. Perfect.
Oh.
that's me. I could lean in.
It's there you go. There's Pat. So it's Shop Talk. We're live at Willies. Tons of stuff going on in Florida, man. This is the show, though. Looking to set a record here today. Over 150 bikes already lined up. If you're listening to this on your phone somewhere on the beach or you're screwing around on Main Street, get down here because if you've never been to this show, it's a must-do in Daytona. If you've been here every year, you could be part of setting a record here today. So come check us out.
We're gonna
We'll be
have to tear
here.
the building down here so we can have the show.
Right.
We need more room.
We need more cameras. We need a budget. We're actually looking for some budget.
we are looking for some budget. Let's talk about what this show used to be. Right?
Yeah. How this started.
I mean, I think that in and of itself, and the people that listen to the show that we did with Willie probably have heard it, but I think it's worth saying, and also the one with Roadside. But Donnie Luce and Jeff Cochran, co-founders of Sucker Punch Sally, used to bring their bikes out front, park them out front. People would stop to look at their bikes. The next thing you knew, there was a bike show.
And that was literally the entire thing.
Was that 10 years ago?
Gotta be more than that.
It's like
Gotta be.
16.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's got to be at least 16.
Okay.
Well,
I believe
it probably says too if we pay attention to any
Yeah, I
of
know.
our
No shit.
our show material, we probably have it.
Yeah,
written
we probably
down
have it somewhere, but
We're losers.
yeah,
It's a 77th annual Daytona. I know that.
Really?
Yeah, I heard somebody say that in a bar the other night.
77th annual.
And bamboo will grow.
What's up, baby?
Bamboo will grow a foot.
Stick around, bring you on too.
Up to a foot a day.
Really?
That's the only other fact I really know that I throw out there.
That's the other thing that you learned while you were down here?
Yeah.
This is the thing about having Pat anywhere with you. Like, Pat is a walking encyclopedia. When we
A wealth of knowledge.
when we interview people, man, like, he always has the key factors, and like, you know, he'll.
Well, I research. It's all about reading. It's all about reading. So.
I'm gonna go back and show you guys another shot of Pat's
I mean, I
hand.
have people read to me. You can't even get that camera to me. I don't even know where the camera is.
It's up in the computer.
See that little green? See that little
the green dot?
If we pick up another sponsor too, we might add another camera. But this is, like
My
I said,
head's pretty big.
This
too.
is our first live remote, so quit busting my balls.
This is great, Chris. I think you're doing a good job.
The
Chris.
fact that I managed to hobble in here and even sit my ass down with this back, and the doctor that I saw yesterday down the street on Speedway, see you tonight, baby.
Well,
I'm wiped out.
The reason Chris's back hurts is because he's been carrying this entire industry on him.
Oh, Jesus, please.
He's just
That's
worn it
so
out.
not
man.
true.
Nice job.
Listen, baby,
That is good
my
stuff
motto
right there,
is
Pat.
smoke and mirrors, you know, and I'm not gonna.
That is good stuff.
I will cop to that.
Don't you let Heather catch you smoking or doing anything off a mirror again, buddy. You know, those are the old days.
Some other things that are going on. Obviously, the Daytona TT race, which is going to be sick, and that's tonight, right?
It's going to be so fun. Yeah, it's tonight. I am hoping to get over there by 4:45 so I can catch pictures of the riders. They're doing like signatures for all the kids and stuff, and I think that's like such a key moment, because if we want kids to ride motorcycles, they have to be endeared.
Yep.
They have to have heroes.
You know? Yeah.
And I'll tell you a story about something, and I won't mention who this was. One of the stunt guys. I saw him out at a show one time, and he was one of the old time stunt guys that didn't do, you know, like all the guys that do the, you know, the metal militia and all that, to do the tricks in the air. He did jumps and stuff.
Sure.
And he was doing a meet and greet after one of his things, and one of his little kids said, "How come you don't do the tricks in the air like the other guys?" And he got so mad, he ripped up the kid's poster and went back into his trailer. And
I know
was
exactly
like,
who you're talking about.
I was like, "You're such a dick." You know what I mean? Like,
but that's just insecurity,
oh,
right?
come on.
I mean, it really is. It's just
you got to take care of people. You got to remember that people are here to see the motorcycles and be part of the moment. You are in charge of their memories. Sure. You know what I mean? Like,
agreed.
You gotta pay that shit forward.
Agreed.
So also coming up this week, actually tomorrow, couple of my buddies from Texas started this thing last year, the first time ever, the Boogie East. That's going to be up at Annie Oakley's. We will be there in the afternoon with them. Pat, what do you got going on down here?
Well, we're Grease and Gears Garage, you know, the thing that we do together. That's been happening. We're building that Twisted T, the
Tracker.
T-Tracker. I can't, you name stuff, man. You're real smart about that. But anyway, we're going to be hanging out at Bling Cycles over at Bill Dodge's shop on North Beach for a couple of nights here. We're throwing that thing together for Twisted T. You know, we're going to be doing some live Facebook stuff there and enjoying that. Nice. You know, Grease and Gears Garage is blowing up. Looks like we brought on some great partners, and we're going to be hitting. You know, we just did the 7 progressive international motorcycle shows, and we're going to be at least 6 rallies over the rally season with Grease and Gears Garage on main stages. So that's kind of my bag right now.
And the nice thing about that, obviously, Pat's the face and the voice of that. You know, bringing everybody up. But what's really cool, man, is we're bringing builders from around the country. You know, it's not just a set feature of, you know, so many builders. We actually work it out so that, you know, the guys that are within that area, 3 or 4 states around, we're bringing them in. We're showing the talent everywhere and letting them have a platform that they can come up and really show what they do.
Yeah, instead of just doing, you know, it's not 4 or 5 guys that you're going to see every time. I mean, it's dozens of guys, and not necessarily faces that you would know. It's some guys that are doing some great work out of tiny shops that are just incredible American craftsmen, and so it's great to expose people to that. But you know, we say all the time, Chris, you know, we want to inspire, and we want to educate and entertain as well. But inspire and educate to let people know that custom motorcycles, doesn't matter what you ride. You can be riding a dirt bike, BMW, Yamaha, Harley. It doesn't matter. you can do something to claim that as your own in terms of either performance or aesthetics. You can change that bike
Absolutely.
and say, now this is mine. You put your stank on it yourself. So,
And I think that was the greatest thing that we learned in the 7 shows of the IMS, because it encompasses the entire country. You know, it's influences from everywhere. You get to check it out. The one theme that we saw, when this industry is looking for outreach and they're looking to bring that Generation X, Y, and the millennials now, what we saw, man, was that the custom industry is alive and well, but it's happening in those little garages again, community garages. We saw community garages in every town that we went, but they're not doing the same traditional, like, taking a shovel and a pan. I mean, those guys are doing it on everything, old Ducatis and newer shit.
350 Hondas.
Yeah. And I mean, that's awesome, man, because if you think about the root of Chopper started with guys that were using whatever was available. They were putting parts from any other shit that they could get their hands on, and they just did their thing, you know what I mean? So if this next generation's thing doesn't look like our thing, we can't slight them for that. We have to accept it for what it is and encourage that, man, because it will blossom into what our future is, all of us.
And the thing the one memory that I have of Grease and Gears Garage over this past year that I was excited about, and we're going to do more of it, you know, obviously you and I have talked about it, is when, I forget what show we were in Cleveland, and we brought we had Tom, who was the welding instructor from Eastwood's retail location there, and brought a 16-year-old kid up, and you know 16 years old, they don't have a real idea of what they want to do, you know, and thinking about it. He's had been thinking about the military, but really didn't know what he wanted to do in the military when we started talking to him on stage. In 30 minutes, he got a TIG lesson, and that kid, he could lay a weld at the end of 30 minutes. And when he left stage, he said, "Hey man, what are you thinking about doing with your life?" He said, "I want to go in the military, and I want to be a welder in the military." It branded him, you know, and that's what we got to do. Like you were saying, we have to get young people really attached.
And especially not to shit on the millennials, but when you look around the millennials that I know, there is a big question mark. What are they going to do? What are they going to own, buy? You know, what's it going to look like? What's that demographic going to look like? For them, there's questions. So to see those questions get answered live in front of us for one of those kids, that was off the hook, man. That was one of the best memories.
Well, yeah, and I mean, if you ride around in Daytona and you take like kind of you just kind of take a general consensus, it's a lot of people kind of our age or older. Right?
Yeah.
But you'll see these little pockets of enthusiasm, right? Of like young guys doing their thing, and like you said, it's not going to be what we did. It's not going to be, you know, what the generation before that did. They're going to be doing their own thing, and I think, you know, with what you do at the magazine, I mean, that's grassroots is grassroots. It doesn't have an age.
That's right, and it doesn't have a brand either.
No, and I think also, you know, the fact that it's not just about a magazine. You know, it's way more than that. It's you know, the podcast, it's Grease and Gears, it's, you know, it's so many things.
Well, and I think it's interesting, you know, the last kind of surge of popularity of choppers was kind of owned by OEMs, you know, I mean, big corporations kind of bought it, and it helped accelerate it, but it ultimately was also its demise.
Oh, yeah.
And so this time, when you see it coming back around, it has more of a flavor of the 70s, where, you know, and of course I wasn't around in the 70s to remember it, but like I got a good friend, Jerry Hall, Jerry Cyclecraft, been in business in Georgia for almost 50 years. And he said in the 70s, man, it was different because it was just guys doing what they're doing now.
Yeah.
And nobody could own them. It was like, I'm going to do what I want to do. I don't want to sponsor.
And honestly, for the health and well-being of our industry moving forward, we need a reinvestment of owner principals, owner operators that are actually the guy at the counter, the guy with the wrench in his hand, the guy standing here that like, yeah, I'm Jerry Cycles, you know.
Absolutely.
The thing that's entertaining though, or that I haven't seen, is that nobody has tried to crack that production custom code again. Like maybe they learned something.
Thank God.
Because it's such. I
mean, I was an industry whore. I mean, I worked for all those guys and designed bikes for them and did all that stuff, and you know, and it was good money, but it was what was happening at the time. I mean, you know, there wasn't anything else really going on other than that. Sure. It was really hard, you know. I couldn't build bikes out of my shop and sell them because everybody had gone to buy those. You know?
Right.
And plus my bikes, I mean, comparatively, there were guys selling one-off customs then, but they were, I mean, it was Matt Hodge, it was Jesse James, it was Sharon Green.
Yeah,
I mean, that's like, I wasn't building that bike, so.
Yeah.
But, I do think that this time, I think they learned their lesson.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a huge crash.
And I have to say, not just because they were dear brothers of mine, the people that got the absolute closest to that were Sucker Punch Sally.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you think back to the Working Man Special. You basically got a ready-to-put-your-tins and customize it motorcycle from them for $10,000.
Yep.
I mean, that was in the heyday, man, when like Big Dog and American Iron Horse were they couldn't keep bikes somewhere, you know.
Well, and it was fascinating, whatever my history is, whether you look at Big Bear Choppers when they came out and did that kit bike. What was it, the Vengeance?
Yeah.
And they put that thing in custom chrome catalog. All of a sudden, it became accessible for somebody to build a custom bike. But those kinds of things were cool. And I am surprised we haven't seen somebody try to do that again.
Yeah. I bet you as Generation X and Y really starts to get into the super consumer area, we will see some of that, but it'll be very different. It'll be much more like the Sucker Punch Sally thing, because our generation is so hands-on with shit. I don't think you could sell us a ready-made motorcycle.
Well, I think the thing is too. It never made sense anyways. It makes so much more sense to take an existing bike with an existing type and then make it your own, even if it means cutting everything off except for the neck, and leaving that, like those are the only numbers that are on it, and that makes more sense. And so I'm way more inclined to see that sort of thing happen than I am going, somebody's going to put together every nut and bolt.
It'd be nice if we could get the insurance companies to agree with that approach too.
Exactly.
That's a whole other subject that we're not going to get into today anyway.
I don't want to talk about insurance because we have a potential sponsor for Grease and Gears Garage, and I think insurance companies are wonderful.
They're awesome. The amount of hurdles that they have to overcome in business is amazing, that they do as well as they do for all of us. So
trust me, that's something else.
So listen, Pat, we're gonna cut you loose. Thanks for sitting in with us.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you
We'll
much.
see Pat again tonight, like he said, at Bling Cycles. We'll be doing some Facebook Live. Go ahead, put your head in there, show people how pretty you are. There you go. There you go. Right on. Our ratings just spiked. Look at those numbers. Oh, and by the way, we don't have Heather with us because she's out doing registration, so we can't answer your Facebook stuff.
How did she get?
I love my wife, Ken, so we're not talking about that either. Up next, come on up here. Ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the legend. He's waiting for his paint, you son of a bitch. I'll say it. I said it. Tyler, listen, I'm sorry we don't have you on camera.
Oh, these are yours.
You could squeeze in if you want to.
I'm trying to look and see if we got any questions.
Tyler from Metzler, taking care of all of us. The reason I wanted to have Tyler
We've never
on
actually
today,
met.
No, we haven't.
That's what's. No, that's not true. I think we met last year when it was when Chet was doing his thing or whatever.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Okay.
So the reason I wanted to have you on, man, Metzler Tires, obviously the tire of Cycle Source magazine. They've taken care of me for longer than I can even tell you. I personally always rode Metzlers before I even knew the company because of the time that I would spend on the road, the durability I got out of their products. But then we got a relationship. They take care of all of our staff. They're really, really good people. But the thing that I like is, since you've come on board now, you guys really have taken a back-to-the-street approach to everything you're doing. You guys are sponsoring and supporting so much of this stuff out here and really have become part of the culture today.
Yeah, I guess so. It's one of those things where, obviously our company, it's a foreign company, and but the American market is basically their most important market, especially on the V-twin side of things. So I was brought over in 2015 after working for several other V-twin companies, and basically our budgets got cut. And, we were looking around to not really like, how are we going to do this, but what can we do the most bang for our buck? And so, we kind of sat down, and our former marketing director didn't have a V-twin background, and a lot of trust was placed in me to go ahead and see what we could do. Now, he already had we already had our deal with Cycle Source at that time, and that's how I got to know you and Heather so well. And it's one of those things where it's like, look at what we're getting. We're talking to the guy who is I've been sitting in here listening to you guys talk about the garage builder, and we're showing them that, hey, look, a lot of the other brands, they might be OE on Harley or they might be OE, on somebody else, but for those guys who are like, you know what, I want something a little bit different. Obviously, like our ME 888 is our high mileage tire, and that's for the majority of people. But just walking around the parking lot today, guys are starting to use our adventure tires, whether it's our Karoo 3 or our Sahara. Like I'm lucky that we offer enough sizes that we're really able to help people. And in a way, I guess tires are an afterthought because the wheel is way more important. Right?
He's taking a shot at me. He's taking a shot at me.
So, and it's something I didn't realize. I've always tinkered with bikes, and I've got a couple of, custom bikes or whatnot. But when I started working here, I did the same thing. You build the wheel, and then you're like, hey, I need that tread pattern in this tire, and that's not the way it works. Unless you have about $250,000 for us to make you a custom tire. So, it's really hard for people because as a builder, like, for instance, when I build a bike, it always starts as one part in my garage.
Yeah.
It's just one part, and I build an entire bike around that one part. The bike that I'm finishing up now.
Which is sick, and I'm going to say this on the air because I got influence from this man sitting right here, and I got to tell you about this.
Oh, that's scary.
This is not like they don't even have an ad in my magazine right now, so you can't say that he in any way bought this off of me. But I'm going to tell you, this cat, you see these guys from Metzler out doing their thing, and they got their tent and stuff, and they're nice and polished. This dude sits in a garage and builds shit, and he built a sick fucking FXR right now.
FXR? How dare you? It is not. You have an FXR.
I have the FXR. I'm sorry.
I have a rigid. Thank you very much.
He has a rigid, but I stole some influence off of it, and he tells me all the time, he's like, wow, really? You got this? Yeah, you got that?
It's one of those things, the guys who really trendset never get the credit for it, and it's so depressing.
I'm trying to hook you up with some credit right now. Like,
I don't want it. I don't want it. No. But for instance, like that.
You become my muse.
Custom industry is in decline now, but no, it's one of those things. Like, for instance, that bike I built, it all started around that set of forks.
Yeah.
I have a set of GSXR inverted forks, and I had bought them for a project gone wrong, and they just sat in the corner one day. And my first street bike was a 71 FLH, so I've always had a soft spot for shovel heads, and this is going to hurt a lot of listeners' feelings, but cone shovels especially. And
listen, man, I'm from the Northeast. There is nothing like a fall night, a chilly fall night, and a cone shovel.
Yeah. Oh. And an ice cream cone. Yeah, you're just going to keep the cone thing going, a little bit. But, so, like, I was trying to figure out how can I anger people and put some modern touches on an old bike. And after the 4 years it took me to build it, now I'm starting to see more inverted front ends. There was a couple in the parking lot today, and I was like, man, it's cool. With our tires, for instance, I have adventure tires on my bike. I got really lucky. We did a sizing change on one of our tires for an OE fitment that we got a little late to them. You'll see it in the next year or two. But I got like the first few sets of those things, and I was like, because I just had the ME 888s on my bike, and I was like, I'm working for the brand. This thing's going to be, at some shows, and we're going to use it in our booth and whatnot. I'm going to rep the brand. And then this tire comes out, and in the sizes I needed, and we put it on the bike, and my cousin and I stepped back, and we were like, this bike was all right. Like, this is what we planned. This really took it that next level. So anybody listening, if you guys are looking at tires or looking at building a new custom bike, I know it's hard to look at that vision and step back and go, oh, I need tires now. Because if you're like me, you had a set of wheels rolling around with tires already on them, okay? And maybe you're doing a wheel size change or whatnot. But, really step back, look through the tire catalog first. Yeah. Look through that first, because especially if you're going spokes, man, you can lace up anything to anything. Or if you have a good machine shop, they can cut you anything you need to fit the tire. But the tire part is kind of difficult. So, get those donuts, get those things up on the lift and kind of mock them in and look through the tire catalog first. And, of course, find us at an event where I'm working on some deals right now to get us back to more events. We used to have a big Metzler semi and all that kind of stuff, and in the great crash of '08, all that kind of died
giant
out.
elephant.
Yeah. I actually dig it the way you guys are doing it now, though. Like, regardless of if it came from budget or whatnot, but I feel like you're more part of what's actually going on here now than Metzler has ever been before.
Yeah, and it's funny too because we had a 3-man crew to come down for this, and usually it's 11 days of working a booth 9 to 6, and you're sitting at an airport telling somebody where you're going, and oh man, I've always wanted to go to Bike Week, or I've always wanted to go to Sturgis.
Me too.
And I'm like, yeah, it would be cool, wouldn't it? So, I'm like, I was like, have you ever been the DD that had to hang out at the party all night long? I was like, that's me, So, but no, this year we were able to have 3 guys come down, so we all planned one day off, and this is technically my day off, and I get down here. I've been coming to Daytona since 2009. Just to preface things, I am a millennial, and so I like to fancy myself as one of the good guys. But so we this is my day off, and I got down here, and I was like, there's so much solid content here, and I'm not a photographer. I'm not a social media guy, but I have an iPhone. That makes me a professional. So I'm throwing stuff to our agency and all that kind of stuff, and I'll see how bad they typo things and how many dynas they call softails, and it'll be a lot of fun later. But
or hardtails FXRs like me. I'm such a dick.
It's okay.
This is the thing I love about this cat though, because we have each other's cell phone back and forth, and the stuff that you'll never know are the conversations that we have about the shit that you guys are posting. If you knew those conversations, you'd be so guarded with your next post.
Well, and it's so funny working with you and Heather now, because I grew up. My cousin is the most straight-laced chopper guy you'd ever see, and he's the one that kind of introduced me to the chopper culture. He had his own independent motorcycle shop. That's how he made his living. He put 2 girls through college and the whole thing,
Right
on this
on.
kind of stuff. And so it was my first bike was a 71 FLH. It wasn't technically mine, but he got to the point where he couldn't ride anymore. It was his. And I didn't have a street bike because my mom wouldn't let me have one. He'd like, just drive up to the house, grab this thing, and take it out. At the time, I was like, it's an old Harley. Who cares? Anywhere I rode that thing, like I took the seat off. I just had a metal pan for a seat. I had motocross handlebars because I'm a dirt bike kid, and never ever washed it. Like, it was greasy. And you guys might not believe this, but there was a drip or two everywhere I went. And so that kind of got it started. And then I'm in high school in the early 2000s. Well, that's when Chopper TV came on.
Yeah, buddy.
And this is even funnier. The first guy that I truly connected with on those shows was Pat Patterson.
Yeah.
and now
Yikes.
and now Pat's like legit like one of my best friends, and because he was a dirt bike guy building choppers, and there was some like small influences in there. And I'm seeing it out there now. There's so many bikes out there, and I heard you guys discussing it earlier, like, where's the industry going? Are we leaving it in good hands and stuff? And, like Nick B from Forever Two Wheel Maine, like, that guy is solid. Now he's doing it full time. He's got a shop up in God knows where in Maine. He's just up there chewing on lime. Yeah,
or something. Yeah,
just this side of Canada.
Yeah. He's almost Canadian. So when he's not like roller skating and drinking Labatt's, and he's actually like working on stuff, and you see his builds, and the chopper scene, I honestly think, is in really good hands. And
hell yeah.
And one of the things that I see is not a lot of us, we don't have credit. We can't go in and buy something new, and we're digging and scraping, to buy an old bike and cuss at it for 2 or 3 years before we get it done. But that's also how it started. So it's almost like a chopper revival going on right now.
And you know what, man? For whatever it's worth, that's how it always was.
Yeah.
I mean, even when the heyday was here, there's a very small percentage at the top that had that mad money. The undercurrent was all of us still doing the same shit, still making it paycheck to paycheck and doing this, and that's the heartbeat of it.
Yeah, and it's funny. Like, motorcycles are the reason that like I don't have a family right now, all my friends are like, we're going to Disney World and we're vacationing and blah 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 blah, and I was like, I got sweet ass motorcycles.
Dude, we just went in one conversation from you meet the nicest people on a Honda to Tyler's message, motorcycles are why I don't have a family.
Exactly.
I'm making a fucking T-shirt out of that. That was awesome.
Well, you know, and it's funny too, because other than my cousin, my motorcycle, my family's, they're not really anti-motorcycle, but you know, I grew up racing. I raced 4 years on the professional flat track series, and I was not good, so don't think I was, but I was there. You know, I was there, and you know, they didn't really come to races. They, you know, it wasn't talked about when I'd come in for the holidays, nothing. So like, out of necessity. Like I was just like the weird cousin, you know, / uncle, whatever, that had the, you know, the big white van, and out of necessity, like then you have your motorcycle family.
Sure.
And you know, the motorcycle family, and at times is even more important than your real family. And you know, luckily I'm thankful for this. I'm not going to see my mom drinking at the Iron Horse, you know, you know. But if I saw you and Heather there, I'd be like, all right, here we go.
Right on. Well, listen, man, there's a piece coming up in the magazine. I wanted to thank you again for, they actually took me to Metzler's headquarters, and we went through a whole thing of, it's called The Science of Tires. It's going to be a couple-part article that we did, and it actually explains, because one of the things that went on all the time in the old chopper culture was running low tire pressure on your hardtail, and it was, you know, you could get some suspension out of it. Well, in this article, we went through the whole process of production of a motorcycle tire, the science behind it, and we explained to you why today's tires are made and designed different. Scientifically, they need to be run with the manufacturer's suggested pressure, and there's a reason why, and we go through the whole thing. And like, man, they just gave us volumes of material, took us out on a track day on a beautiful track in Vezzola, Italy, and like, these guys are awesome. But they want to bring that education to you guys so that you understand what you're buying when you buy a tire, what's behind it. We were lucky enough that we're the conduit for that. So look for it next month in Cycle Source. 3 months after that, we're gonna let it out on social media. So
yeah, and you know, when you were over there, you know, you were hanging out with the top brass and the engineers, and they get kind of lost on the custom bike scene. They really do. And yes, you can lower your tire pressure down to get a little bit out. Honestly, I do it, but you know, full disclaimer, I'm also not having to buy tires either. But it's not, you know, you're not like, well, I'm only running 15 pounds here, you know, so that way. No, like, if recommended pressure, especially if you're running a hardtail, you know, just kind of base everything off a Sportster, because most choppers are relatively the same weight as a Sportster. Yeah. So, you know, like on the newer design tires, yeah, you're going to be up, you know, in the upper 30s, you know. Yeah. I wouldn't go quite to 40. But yeah, so these guys are like, oh, well, you know, I'm going to run 20 pounds a day. Man, like, bring it down like 32, 34 pounds. Yeah. That tire, with some of the new technologies, it actually allows the tire to be more compliant. So you don't have to run the low pressure just to get a little bit of a spongy feel. But yeah, for everything else, you know, you know, even from everything from the touring bikes, you know, to the Dynas and stuff like that, man, the manufacturer recommended pressure is where you want to be.
Well, that's not even just where you're going to get the best ride, the best handling. You're going to get the longevity of the tire, because it's designed to be that way. That's where the tire has its best shape, its best contact. Mm-hmm. You know, we went through this whole thing of the contact patch, and I was amazed, man, at like how many different readings they do of this stuff to establish what a tire's contact patch is and how that all works.
And we do all that work and spend all that money, and then, you know, somebody puts it on their, you know, their FLHTC GUI 9er thing, and they check the pressure once a year, and you know, then they come to me and like, well, I got 8,000 miles out of those things.
8,000 miles.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, that's funny, because the last person I talked to checked their pressure once a week, and they're sitting here at 18,000 on that rig. You know, so you know, it takes all kinds. It takes all kinds for every fantastic, you know, show-stopping chopper. There's a lot of stuff that I would have built in 3rd grade. So, but it all makes the industry go round.
It does, man.
And one of the things, you guys have built so many custom bikes. Whether you like a bike or you don't like a bike, once you do it yourself, you appreciate everything you see. Yeah. Everything.
That's a great attitude, dude.
I'm fairly certain I will never build another custom motorcycle because it was so painful.
Yeah, I swore I wouldn't.
It was such a process.
I can't stop.
Yeah.
I just can't stop doing it. I love building shit.
You have to have something in your garage, or you know, wherever you work on your stuff. You have to have something at all times that angers you. You know,
I've got that.
You know, you get home from work, and no matter what you do, everybody's job's frustrating. You're not like, well, I'm gonna get up early and go to fun today. No, it's work. Like everybody has a frustrating job, and you need something when you come home, and you need to mow the yard, you need to do all these things, but you need to look in that garage on that lift and be like, that mother.
I will beat you.
Yeah.
I will beat you.
I will make you work.
Yeah. If you pop one more fuse, and you didn't take the time at 3 a.m. to check all your grounds. No, it's the fuse. You got to be angry at something.
This is bullshit.
Yeah, of course.
I get that every week with Chris sitting here at this board.
This started with a little thing like.
Isn't that funny? So when I had my little website, this is what I wanted it to evolve to. And I was out looking for sponsors and funding for all this kind of stuff. I already had like a job in the industry. I was traveling like crazy. And even just doing my website and a once-a-week column and some interviews and a little bit of video here and there, I was burning the candle at both ends, man. I looked like I looked 7 years older than I was. And a guy stopped me and he was like, I'll fund it. I'll buy your equipment. I'll fund it. Company name on everything. But he said, don't do two things half-ass. Do one thing, whole ass. And so, like, Cycle Source is your full-time job. These are incredibly entertaining. Some of the people you get on here. I'm sorry it was me and Pat today. We're really dragging the bottom of the barrel today with Tyler and Pat. But this is a great platform. Whether or not you're able to see a Facebook Live or you're just driving. That's every time I'm stuck in traffic moving around Daytona, that's why I'm listening to podcasts.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Well, and today, man, I mean, it's not that I want to do anything half-assed either, but to be a print magazine, you have to do all this other stuff because the people. It's not like back in the day where you broadcast whatever you were doing and you let people come to it. You have to go get them now.
Yeah, you got to push. And another thing with the greatest thing about your magazine, because I have to deal with all the magazines. They're always coming to us, and yours is the only one. When I get it every month at the office, it's getting a little bit bigger.
Yeah, right on, man. And listen, I'm truly feel blessed for that, and I couldn't be.
We got a question.
A question from Facebook.
It's not actually a question. It's for you.
Oh God.
It's from George the Painter.
No.
Okay.
You're gonna have to understand this. I can scrape my primary on the long bike because of full pressure on my 888s.
There you go.
Oh, George. Oh, man, my pants are getting tight in the front a little bit. Woo! Yeah. Turn up the heat, George.
And he's sitting in his bathtub right now,
totally.
smoking something other than cigarettes, staring at his long bike.
I wouldn't have no idea. Well, his name is Painter.
Yeah.
You got to stay creative is what I like to say. You got to stay creative.
Right on.
He is that.
Well, listen, man, thanks for being
Dude,
on
thanks
with
for
us.
having me
thanks,
on.
Tyler.
I appreciate it. Go check them out. Go hit Metzler up, man. If you see these guys out at a show, go talk to them because one of my favorite parts of the week, usually once a week I'll get on the phone or at least a text message with this cat and he has so much insight to offer.
I'm
He's a
so
blast.
happy that text string is not made public because there's it's really funny too because we'll sit there and talk about man, we're really hateful for being guys who love motorcycles. We're so hateful. But,
sounds a lot like our conversation.
Yeah, but for anybody down here in Daytona that's closing out the weekend, we do have our booth set up at Destination Daytona, right outside the front doors of J&P Cycle. We have some rally-only specials going on right now, and we have sold, I looked at the sales numbers this morning. I don't know why. It's no rhyme or reason, but we're up 326%.
Wow.
In sales. I'm
Awesome.
thinking it's Cycle Source. I think that's why.
I'd like that.
Yeah, so...
and you guys are actually giving a set of tires away here today at
doing
Willies,
a set
and
today. Yeah, Heather already busted me for not bringing a certificate, and I was like, just give them my email address. Just give them. It's easier. I don't have to stand and take a goofy picture with somebody. Just I'll get them dialed in.
And see what I'm saying?
With your unbranded shirt on, you don't even have a Metzler shirt on or shorts.
I'm
or
off
socks.
today.
Yeah,
Okay, so on the attire. I always my thing is I always try to look as unchopper as possible. So I
does,
trim
dude. I love this
I
guy.
trim my beard up every 4 days. I have quite a bit of product in my hair. I went into a greasy old shop trying to sell some stuff one day, and the guy goes, "What are you going to tell me about tires? I don't know, golf course."
Yeah.
I just went in there shorts.
That is your nickname
Yeah,
from
shorts,
now on.
short, and if you guys decide to feature my bike, seriously, I'm
It's
thinking
in.
shirt and tie.
Yeah.
I'm
Or
just
at least
saying.
a polo shirt.
Yeah,
Dude, you gotta
and
go-
just smile.
You got to
Smile
go
or bang.
straight Men in Black.
Yeah, Yeah, so I was a little bummed at myself today. I still got my sneakers on, my shorts.
Yeah.
But as I was driving over here, I'm so industry, I didn't ride. I drove the rental. So as I was coming over here, I went, damn it, I've got a black T-shirt on that says Harley. Damn it, I did it wrong today. So, but no, man, this industry's given me so much, and being involved with you guys is fantastic. And I look forward to. And I don't really know so much if it's innovation, but I love seeing the classic stuff come back. It's so fantastic.
You know, man, I just like the change. I like the change. Yesterday at our show, a cat rolled in with one of the new Harleys, like the 650, and had it in a Sportster frame, but had it all dirt bike. It was a complete enduro bike, and I was like, that is completely original, man.
And I own one of those things. When I was working at the Harley shop, one come in wrecked, and because of insurance reasons, I'm not sure what was going on. The guy was like, "Hey, the scrapyard's going to give me $150. Could you give me some more for that?" And I was like, "Well, listen, at this low of a price, I'm not. You tell me." And he said, "Would you give me $300?" Luckily, we had an ATM in the store.
Sold.
So it is my project right now that I'm cussing at, and I just got the wheel situation figured out.
500, 750.
Come on, Ken, it's a 750.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I said 650 Street. I'm so stuck in Bonneville.
But so that's my frustration, because that is a challenging bike to make look cool. I mean,
and this dude nailed it, and it's coming up in the
and
magazine.
I'm seeing a few like that.
Yeah.
You know, and being a flat tracker, you know, the tracker thing's just blowing up, and I see people, and I'm picky about that. You know, like I was fortunate enough, like I got to race XRs and stuff like that, and I'm just sitting back like, nope, that tank and seat relationship is wrong, and this and that. But man, you get those street 750s, that is a challenge, and anybody that modifies those in any way, I applaud you, because it's a difficult platform.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, listen, check them out. Awesome. Hit them up when you see them, man. It's always a good talk.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate
Be
it.
at Robeson's tomorrow for the Biltwell Bash.
Yeah.
I'll be there. So if you guys want to come talk trash with me, I can. You know, I'm pretty well versed in it. And Saturday and Sunday we'll be at J&P Cycle. So come by and see us.
You should come out and see Sons of Speed on Saturday. What are you thinking?
We're getting back to work. Okay, it's a work thing.
Come on.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you don't make tires for that.
But you know, yeah, exactly. But I did not come in this room expecting to be on the show. So thanks for having me on.
Sure, absolutely.
But I have got to catch up with you. I got a whole new story in the Painter saga. Oh, it's so good,
dude.
It's
and we're waiting to feature his bike, and his painter has screwed him around 7 ways to Sunday. Like, we should have had it in a year ago already, right?
Yes. Yeah. That was the plan. The plan was the original plan was June of last year. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
So it's been fun, but everything's straightened out. Everything's good, and look to probably shoot it in April.
He's just so busy right now.
Yeah.
The one and only.
Oh man, Roadside just popped in here.
Yeah, he did. Gave us the finger.
Coming on. Come on, Tyler.
Oh yeah, I'm out of here.
You can at least
come on.
Can you say hello for 2 minutes?
Come on.
Yeah,
right.
Roadside's in.
We'll give him 2 minutes.
Thanks everybody.
All right, man. Take it easy, brothers.
Putting the
Thank you
timer
again,
on, though.
Ladies and
You
gentlemen.
bumped Evan last time.
The master of ceremonies. The man of the hour.
You're not on camera. So.
I'm not. What the fuck, man?
It's just going to be your voice.
I mean, you can, if you really
squeeze in. You can be. There you go. There he is.
That's not uncomfortable at all.
Oh yeah.
So he's hot. He's sweating.
Oh, geez.
What's going on outside? Tell us about where we at with bikes.
I don't know.
You don't know what number we're up to?
I have no idea.
140.
140 in the show? That's still a little weak,
They
but
said 140. That was a couple hours ago. I heard 140.
boss lady hasn't gave me a count.
Right on.
Lately, but you know.
How's she doing? This is her first run at.
Oh, she's stressed the fuck out.
Wow.
Heather, I'm so sorry.
You're not mincing any words there.
Yeah. I don't know how you live with that. I mean, she can be kind of angry at times.
She runs a tight ship, boy. She does.
No doubt.
There's no messing around.
Yeah.
So, how many years you been doing the show, Willie? We talked about this last week, but I'm old.
Yeah, God, 16, 17 years.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's gotta be a record crowd out there today. I was across the street of Publix, couldn't park there, all the way around the back, like 8 blocks in all directions.
Yeah, it's got to be one of the biggest crowds I've ever seen, man. You literally cannot walk. You're elbow to elbow. It's insane out there.
Yes.
Same thing in the back. It's packed.
And man, how lucky! Like when I first walked into here today, the first 2 people I shook hands with right in a row were Keith Ball and Dave Pirowitz. Like
Yep.
just sitting on a bench together. I was like, how cool is that shit, man?
Yeah.
Oh man, I was when I first got here this morning, I was running around left and right, and all of a sudden I heard somebody yell, "Hey, how come you don't you're too good to say hi to me roadside?" And I stopped, and it was Skeeter Todd, and I was like, "Oh man." So he was one of the first ones here today.
And he rode in on one of his very first builds.
Yeah, that XR.
Yeah,
Oh man,
super
unreal.
badass.
And I was just guys like there she is right there, the boss.
Were your ears burning?
How's it going? We were just talking about you. Huh? Yeah. Okay. Hey Heather, how many bites? 145 at last count.
Yeah,
Bikes.
we're usually though closer to 200
Yeah.
about this time. I mean, what time is it now?
Probably close to 2. Yeah.
Close to 2.
250.
Yeah, 250.
Yep.
Oh man, I got to get out there and start throwing some stuff out here shortly.
All right, so we're probably we're getting ready for awards and for giveaways. We're probably going to wrap this thing up.
Yes.
Live from Willie's Tropical Tattoos, our first ever live remote. So this was a piece of history.
Wow.
Piece of history.
Thanks,
glad I'm
Willie,
a
for
part of
hosting
it.
us wherever. I just saw
Yeah,
him 2
he's
seconds
coming
ago.
back down the hallway now.
Yeah.
Oh, here he comes. Let's get Willie in for a second.
Yeah.
We'll throw Roadside the hell off.
All right. Goodbye.
How about you slide out and let Willie slide in?
I will.
Willie, you got time for us? 2 seconds. So coming up on the show here real quick, we actually pried Willie away from the crowd outside. We're gonna get the official word from the man himself. All right. So, Mr. Willie T. Jones, this is the show of shows in Daytona. What's it looking like outside? We haven't been out there for a while.
Man, it's phenomenal. I think it's the most people I've ever seen out here this year.
Absolutely.
It's off the wall.
We came in a few hours ago, and I had to run out. And when I came back, I couldn't even get a place to park. Publix is ridiculous. 8 blocks in all directions, man. They're just packed up. But where did this show start? How many years ago? And tell me the story from the beginning.
Well, I think it was around 2002, I believe, and it was when Jeff and Donnie had Sucker Punch Sally. I think that was around 2002, 2003. Yeah. I can't. It's been going on for quite a while. You know, the years just kind of run now, and and then I know when we first started doing a shirt for events and stuff was 2004 was the first actual event shirt. Before that, we just threw this together and it just winged it, and what happened, you know.
Yep.
And then we got more organized and started doing this with the Veterans Support Fund, and they say it's one of the biggest fundraisers they have.
That's
Now
great.
tell everybody about that, because you know, for a couple years there, when you were getting more help from the industry was reaching out, because we know the good work that you do here. But tell people what actually happens here with the money that's generated from this show today and the raffles and stuff.
Well, all the money raised, and I'm talking about all the girls' tips and everything, goes to the Veterans Support Fund. That money gives them guys a Christmas out of the nursing home and stuff for these guys and everything. And we've been doing it for a long time, but last year probably hit me the hardest. They actually had me dress up as Santa Claus and stuff.
Oh, no kidding.
And go into each individual guy's room, the ones that couldn't make it to the party.
Yeah.
And they do this big party for it, Christmas party. And Nikki Lynn and Mike, the creators of Arnie and stuff, which started the Veterans Support Fund, they are just awesome. Mike is just goes out of his way. He's a Vietnam veteran, and this means so much to them. and the whole cause of it and stuff, and they keep, and just keep it going, and it's always been great that we've had a lot of people in the industry come out and help us and stuff. And Chris, I want to thank you for helping us this year too,
right
man,
on.
and you and Heather.
Listen, this is
just awesome,
Since I first started coming down here with, not first coming with the Limp Law kids and all that. This was always like home for us. This is where we met when we first got to town, where we hooked up to do anything, and where we stopped before we left. So anything we can do to help this thing keep going and keep, memorializing each year of Daytona as a special thing. It begins and ends here for us at Choppertime, dude. So
Sure
thank
does.
you.
Yeah, not one person can do this alone. I tell you that right now. You need all the help you can get.
Right on.
We appreciate everybody's help, the support. All our sponsors, Twisted Tea, Ruin Ziffer. It's just great.
Well, and remember too, like when you're thinking about this, Choppertime is a huge undertaking, 2 times a year. But this cat's running a business here too,
Yeah, for sure.
You want to help out and you can't be here. You're not one of the guys lucky enough to be at Bike Week this year. Get online, man. Order a T-shirt. Support this place. If you're down here and you didn't make the show, come in and get a tattoo from these cats because they're running a business and they shut this whole business down basically. I mean, there's a couple guys getting some ink, but it's hard to get through here. So they shut their regular business down to put this incredible show on, to take care of the veterans, to reach out to the custom industry. And I mean, a lot of guys that might not get trophies up the street at some of the high-end shows, they're getting consideration for the work they put into their motorcycles right here on this parking lot.
For sure.
Yeah, it might be hard to get in here, but we are still open. So if you can make your way through the crowd, come in here and get some ink.
Come get some
we
ink.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Well, listen, we're going to let you get out there. It's about time for awards. So
All right, thank you very much, Chris.
Thanks a lot, Willie.
Thanks for hosting us
Thank you,
today.
Cycle Source.
We appreciate, this. Like I said, this is a piece of history for Shop Talk. It's our first live remote. We're super proud to do it from Tropical Tattoos. So,
And I was
thank
going to
you,
do a
boss.
shout out for Blings too.
Yeah, Bill Dodge at Blings. We're going to be with him for the rest of the week, and he's been a big supporter up here for you too.
Dodge has been a big help.
Absolutely, man. Well, thank you so much, Willie. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
Thanks.
All right, so we're getting ready for awards, man.
Yeah, it's the day. I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna do a little Facebook Live. So after we get off here, I'm gonna get back on, but with my phone, so people can get kind of the vibe of what's going on out there. Because we keep talking about what's going on, but people that have never been here have no idea what we're talking about. I want to show them. Yeah, I want to show them what's going on. So I'll do that from the Cycle Source. So
Right on. So
2 minutes, after we're done here, I'll be out there.
I hope it wasn't too rough of a ride for our first remote. I think we got some feedback that we can figure out a better way on a couple things next time. But
yeah.
Until then, coming to you live from Willie's Choppertime. This is Chris signing out,
And this is Ken.
and we're out.